Hello, good evening. It's the 1st of October 2025. This is News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Aseidu Dartey. Let's bring you headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Ghanaian citizen Daniel Mafu Oforiatta petitions President Mahama to remove Supreme Court Judge Yoni Kolendi for improper interference in the trial of Dr. Atuforsen.
And also coming up tonight, DSTV clarifies counter-statement contradicting Communication Minister on price reductions following uproar, suggesting a promotion deal was brokered.
And later in the bulletin, President John Mahama says Ghana will no longer be a dumping ground for deportees, nor will it accept people with criminal backgrounds. And on the international front, at least 30 people die after Ethiopian church scaffolding falls.
We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Starting with issues regarding the legal fraternity, because barely 24 hours after petitioning the Criminal Investigations Department to investigate Justice Yoni Kolendi and Richard Jakpa over alleged interference of administration of justice, Daniel Mafu Oforiatta, a Chebi indigene, has escalated the matter to the presidency. This time, he is asking President John Mahama to remove Justice Yoni Kolendi as a Supreme Court judge, accusing him of improper interference with the trial involving Dr. Kaisel Atuforsen and 2 others. Lord Eduasare reports.
The war of petitions began with businessman Richard Jakpa, who was the second accused in the ambulance trial. Together with Dr. Kaisel Atuforsen and Sylvester Animana, they were facing charges of causing financial loss to the state. In July, Richard Jakpa petitioned the CID to investigate the former Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, accusing the latter of soliciting his cooperation to testify in a manner which would incriminate Dr. Kaisel Atuforsen, the first accused. He attached WhatsApp conversations between the 2 of them as evidence to make his case. Few months on, private citizen Daniel Mafu Oforiatta also petitioned the CID to investigate Justice Yoni Kolendi and Richard Jakpa over allegations of interfering with administration of justice. The petitioner alleged that Richard Jakpa, with the help of his cousin, Justice Kolendi, sought to obstruct justice by pressuring Godfrey Dame to discontinue the prosecution against the businessman. Oforiatta further alleged that, upon failing to do so, Richard Jakpa went on a spree seeking to tarnish the image of the former Attorney General. In a petition dated September 30 addressed to President Mahama, Daniel Mafu Oforiatta outlined 4 grounds for removal against Justice Yoni Kolendi, including alleged ethical violations. He attached the cross-examination of Richard Jakpa by the Attorney General in the ambulance trial, WhatsApp conversations between Richard Jakpa and the former AG, the High Court ruling, as well as other court documents to buttress his point. It remains to be seen if the President will act on the petition by Daniel Mafu Oforiatta. Lord Eduasare, TV3 News, Accra.
Right, let's get some, legal perspectives on this. Martin Pebu is a private legal practitioner. He's joined us for a quick chat on this. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Yes, good evening, man.
Right, to start with, we're told, clearly looks like Article 146 has come back into mainstream conversation. This time around, it's a Supreme Court judge whom the president has been petitioned to remove. But on the face of it, as a lawyer, what are your initial thoughts and the grounds on which this petition has been sent to the president? It is interference with judicial process. What do you make of it?
Yeah. So the first thing is that the Supreme Court has warned time ad nauseam, endlessly, that the petition should not be published. Should not, it's not even should, must not be published. You say, so it's actually a bit, let me say, retrogressive, that despite many Supreme Court decisions, still the petitions keep leaking and being published. You say, because with that, it affects the process. That's how come that the Supreme Court said no, when a petition is made in a J2 versus Attorney General, the Supreme Court said the only thing that should be said is that the petitioner can announce to the media that, yes, I filed a petition. I'm not suggesting that it's a petitioner who leaked this petition, no. But what I mean is that under the law, the Supreme Court says that the petitioner can inform the media, the general public, that he's filed a petition. That's it, but not the content. And so neither the petitioner nor any citizen, right, has a right to publish the petition. So in order for us to mitigate the effect of what has already been done, maybe we would not discuss the merits, so that at least we would see that as for it being published, it's been published already. So it's not our fault. But if we were to go into the merits, then it will be seen as a fresh step that we are now prejudging the matter.
Certainly.
But what I can also say is that the next point I wish to make is that, well, it tells you that citizens are beginning to assert themselves more and more, because this matter was in the public domain last year. We beat it many times on the key points and other TV3 programs, and we saw how it showed that the Attorney General was involved in unethical conduct, etc. Right? But now that the petitioner has chosen to take on Justice Unique Kulendi, it also means that once we're condemning the Attorney General, it's not within our right to just condemn the petitioner. Let him have his day in court. That's before the, whether before the Council of State, whether he succeeds beyond that point or not. Let's just simply say that he should have his day in court.
Right, and Council, clearly it's an issue of concern, and like you indicated, the petition was supposed to have gone straight to the President, but the full details of it is already in the media. So it's subject to what many have described as, public court to discuss and talk about it even before the presidency acts on it. But does that have any bearing on at all on the final outcome, if any, when the public speaks about an issue?
No. What the Supreme Court said in the Justice Paul Berry versus Attorney General, Chief Justice Tiger P.I., etc., was that they cannot cancel the petition. They cannot throw it out just because it has been leaked. In the same manner in the Justice in the Ejechun case, that was the same thing. The Supreme Court said they can't throw out the petition just because it's been leaked. So that won't have a bearing. But maybe if the leaker, the person who leaked it, is caught, then perhaps there will be the full extent of the law will be brought to bear on him.
Right. Okay. And finally, they're still on the same strand of conversation having to do with Atufosin's case. We know that the General Legal Counsel has also been petitioned to take action against former Attorney General Godfred Dame. He has responded to it. We'll bring the response to our viewers in a bit. But before you leave us, what are your general thoughts on his response to the fact that the General Legal Counsel is being asked to look into his conduct, having spoken to Richard Jakpa in the build-up to the case that was in court?
So the same comment as I gave for the Article 146 proceedings. So now, when a lawyer is also facing disciplinary hearings, it's also supposed to be in camera. That's Regulation 15 of the the professional ethical rules, right? The disciplinary rules. So we enjoy the in-camera hearing. So for that reason, we cannot discuss the merits of his response. And so we'll have to wait for the disciplinary committee to come out. So once again, we'll commend the petitioner for taking that bold step. That is what we need citizens to do, to hold duty bearers to account, because we know we're all not happy with the way Godfrey Dartey conducted himself in that office as Attorney General. He lowered that office to the lowest the extent that we've ever seen in this republic. And so it's good that he'll be facing the disciplinary committee. Yes.
Okay.
But as to the merits, we will express no opinion.
We'll hold on for now. Thank you so much, Martin Pebu, for your time. He's a private legal practitioner.
Meanwhile, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfrey Gabor is urging the General Legal Counsel to dismiss a complaint filed by private citizen Daniel Ofosu-Appiah stating breach of practice and procedural rules of the disciplinary committee. Daniel Ofosu-Appiah, a private citizen, in May 2025, reported the former Attorney General to the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel over the conduct of Godfrey Gabor in the handling of the Republic versus Atoforsen and two others. According to Godfrey Dartey, the complainant circulated content of his complaint in the mass media the same day that he submitted it to the committee, adding that it connotes political undertones and questions his motive. The former Attorney General added that Daniel Ofosu is not connected to the matter cited in his complaint, hence does not result in any injury to him. He further stated that he carried out his duty as the Attorney General and as such cannot be accused of professional misconduct when he didn't do so in his personal capacity.
So that's the background to the petition sent to the General Legal Counsel to investigate and take action against Godfrey Dartey. So what exactly are the responses that Godfrey Dartey has put out? You say it on your screen shortly. He says, amongst other things, that respectfully, this is in clear breach of the practice and procedure of this honorable committee, as proceedings before the General Legal Counsel are required to be confidential. The complainant is unconnected to the matters that are the subject of his complaint. He has not shown any nexus with the facts, any injury suffered by him, or any association with any of the parties in the case Republic versus Atoforsen and two others, whose prosecution led to the subject of his complaint. Respectfully, I submit that this honorable committee should decline jurisdiction over this complaint regarding acts done by the Attorney General in his official capacity, especially in this instance involving the exercise of prosecutorial discretion.
Well, let's continue with the rest of our stories. It's been a long day with the DSTV saga, and the price and banter between MultiChoice and the Ministry of Communications is far from over. In a twist of events, DSTV has issued an apology and clarification regarding the frequently asked questions earlier put out, contradicting the joint media statement with the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations. Judith Brown reports.
It's been less than a week since the announcement by Communications Minister Sam Nartey George promising Ghanaians more value for money.
MultiChoice Africa has committed to implement an unprecedented increased value offer only in Ghana, and I repeat, only in Ghana, which will result in Ghanaian DSTV subscribers getting more services for less.
However, latest responses from the frequently asked questions to DSTV Ghana suggested a surprising contradiction. Well, according to Sam George, the new pricing plan, which would provide subscribers 33% to 50% more value, is a permanent package subject to 3 monthly reviews by the committee.
MultiChoice has offered value over and above what we expected of them. I went into this with a request for 30%. With what we have discussed here, the lowest is 33%, the highest is 50%. The committee will reconvene in 3 months to evaluate the impact of this initiative. This will be an ongoing and periodic exercise.
But responses from DSTV suggested that this was just a 3-month promotion and not a permanent agreement. While Sam George's announcement seemed like a significant win for Ghanaians, the fine print suggested otherwise, leaving many wondering if this is just another marketing gimmick. But just moments after these responses took social media by storm, DSTV has yet again released another statement, this time apologizing for the confusion caused by the facts published on their website. Well, according to them, the new value offering is effective as of October 1, 2025, and aligned with a joint media statement issued by the Communications Minister. They further clarified that the committee will reconvene in 3 months to evaluate the impact of the new value offering, which will be a periodic exercise, and that all customers can enjoy the benefits without restrictions on their bouquet choices. And so will DSTV live up to its promises? Well, only time will tell. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
In a related development, the minority in Parliament has called on the Minister, Sam George, to inform every Ghanaian of his reason for changing his initial stance on not accepting any upgrade but price reduction of not less than 30%. In a release issued earlier, the group asked the minister to account for the amount collected by the government from the 10,000 Ghana cedis imposed on DSTV since its inception and request an apology from him. The release said that the minority side are not surprised by the minister's stance given his reputation for disrespect and pomposity among well-meaning Ghanaians. So that's what the minority have had to say on the DSTV versus government debacle.
Meanwhile, Director of Arbitration and Mediation at the Consumer Protection Agency, Nana Prempe Okoji-Aboidohene, has criticized the stance taken by the Minister of Communication on the ongoing DSTV subscription debate. He says the minister's approach is misguided and unlikely to yield results.
In a recent statement, DSTV clarified that its so-called value enhancement offer is a promotional campaign running from October 1 to December, contrary to earlier claims by the minister that customers would be upgraded to higher tier packages. The Consumer Protection Agency says the minister should have allowed consumers to lead the advocacy rather than taking the fight on as a regulator, despite repeated cautions.
For the regulator and the minister to insist that a private business entity should reduce its prices because he believes that the exchange rate, the city is appreciating the dollar. That was so wrong. It is the consumers who have to come out and say that, look, DSTV, you are surcharging us so much, and therefore we are switching off our decoders. Once we do that in uniform or in unison, then DSTV can come down with the consumers and negotiate with us. That's the only best way that we can do it. But DSTV to reduce its service charges. Then we have to tell the TV license operators in Europe, where most Ghanaians want to watch Premier League and also to reduce their charges that they sell the channels to DSTV. And that is how it's supposed to be. I don't believe so. And moreover, our CD dollar depreciation is not static. It keeps on changing all the time.
He also dismissed allegations that DSTV is overcharging Ghanaians, stating that the service is a luxury and not a basic necessity.
Our own investigation shows that aside the almost 11 taxes that was imposed on DSTV, they also have a workforce population of about 2,100, and they have overheads. They have satellite dishes, they pay electricity and all that. So taking all that into their cost, I don't think that they were overcharging us. More so, DSTV is a luxury product, not a necessity that everybody wants. So those who love to patronize, they will.
The debate over DSTV's pricing and promotions continues to stir public interest, with calls for clearer communication and stronger consumer advocacy.
Let's go on to some other stories this evening. And President John Dramani Mahama has revealed that the visa ban reversed by the United States government was in the best interest of Ghana and has no financial considerations to it. Given the firm assurance that Ghana will not be a dumping ground for deportees with criminal backgrounds, the president said that Ghana's acceptance of the deportees will not compromise its sovereignty, security and stability.
Since July, Ghana came under intense scrutiny following a visa banning position from the United States. Negotiations followed thereafter at high levels, including bilaterals at the recently ended United Nations General Assembly.
Let me state clearly that this outcome was negotiated in Ghana's best interest. And one of the key points in our negotiation with the U.S. authorities was our agreement to address the issue of overstayers who travel on student visas and others who travel as part of official government delegations. I mean, these are people who go and instead of coming back, they decide to stay. And so they have the record. So when they draw the threshold and you're above it, then they cancel your 5-year visas and bring you to B5, B3.
The lifting of a ban has got many talking, with conspiracy theories also being suggested. Speaking of the swearing in of new envoys, the president laid bare the conditions that assured the U.S. of lifting the ban.
There was no financial consideration as part of the understanding between Ghana and the United States. I also wish to inform you that negotiations are ongoing with regards to the trade tariffs of 15% and the renewal of AGOA, which was a 0% tariff on African nations. And so those negotiations are still ongoing. Ghana will not, and I repeat, will not become a dumping ground for deportees, nor will we accept individuals with criminal backgrounds. Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
The president commissioned them with the oath of office, instrument, and secrecy, a charge for them to be economic ambassadors as Ghana's diplomatic stance remain non-aligned. For Ghana's ambassador to South Africa, Benjamin Kwasi, there exist opportunities for growth.
We read thoroughly the KPIs that we've been given. It gives us cleared out regulations as to how we'll bring in these foreign investors. And I think that that is what we are going to do to ensure that we help in ensuring that our economy grows and then there's jobs and opportunities for everybody. I know a lot of companies in South Africa that came here, but they've started folding up. Some have left. Some have indicated that their conditions then was not favorable to them. I think the condition now that we have today, fortunately for us, inflation is at a single digit. And I think that is a part in the back of the NDC administration. And we are going to harness this. We're going to ensure that we stand on this to be able to build that economic diplomacy that we've all been asked to build.
You look at the proximity and look at what we can benefit. Even if they say we should exhibit goods, who can do it best between Ghana and Togo? I think even before Benin. So we have all those plans.
As the government nears 8 months in office, work starts immediately for the envoys. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Jubilee House, Accra.
In more news tonight, as the world becomes increasingly interconnected, cybersecurity threats are on the rise. Ghana is, however, taking proactive steps to protect its citizens and infrastructure from these threats as it launched its Cybersecurity Month. Judith Brown reports.
Speaking at the launch of the Cybersecurity Month, President John Dramani Mahama assured Ghanaians of the state's commitment to collaborating with international bodies to clamp down on cyber attacks and internet fraud. He urged citizens to remain vigilant and aware of the threats that cybersecurity poses to the country.
Some are romance scams, and recently we've been collaborating with our international partners when evidence is gathered and it's proven that people are involved in romance scams. Using our extradition treaties, we ship the culprits back. And so we'll continue to collaborate with all our global partners. Anybody involved in romance scams, whether you are a foreigner or you are a Ghanaian citizen, we will hand you over to be tried and punished accordingly.
The Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak, further highlighted the Ghana Police Service's strengthened cooperation with Interpol to combat cybercrime. This partnership, he says, aims to protect citizens from the growing threats of cyber attacks and internet fraud.
You will agree with me, the cyber crime knows no borders. And knowing the extent of the modus operandi these criminals, the Ghana Police Service has strengthened its cooperation with Interpol, ECOWAS member states, and other international bodies to share intelligence, conduct joint operations, track cyber criminals beyond our frontiers.
For Minister for Communications and Digital Innovation, Sam Nate George, he explains the ministry is reviewing the Cybersecurity Act to ensure that laws remain robust and effective in addressing cybercrime.
As part of this national effort, the government remains fully committed to strengthening our legal and institutional frameworks. Due to the evolving nature of cybersecurity and the need to stay ahead of threats, the Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038, is currently under review by the ministry to ensure that our laws remain robust, responsive, forward-looking, and capable of addressing emerging threats. To ensure swift prosecution, we're working closely with the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice to establish a specialized court to handle cybercrime issues.
As the nation strives to combat cybercrime, Ghanaians are encouraged to stay informed and vigilant about cybersecurity threats. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Let's go on to some other stories. An unidentified passenger brought the Tema Afenya train to an abrupt halt on its first day of passenger service after mistakenly pulling the emergency brake, delaying the trip for about 10 minutes. Engineers from the Ghana Railway Development Authority used the incident to caution passengers against tampering with trains' emergency systems.
At 9 a.m., some passengers had gathered at the Afenyan station to join the Maiden passenger service on the Temanimpakadan rail line. On board were the Minister for Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikpe, the CEO of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apor, and a team of engineers. In some communities, residents have poured sand on the rail line to create crossing for vehicles. In one instance near the Tema Industrial area, a herd of cattle nearly obstructed the train's movement. A sudden stop later in the journey left engineers puzzled until they discovered that a passenger had engaged the emergency brake unknowingly.
Earlier before
Nothing.
the train stopped.
I don't know. I've not been this god, and I don't think maybe people touch emergency, and do it because been this problem from emergency brake.
But it's nothing serious.
At the moment, it's all right. Everything is okay.
Director, Policy Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation, Al-Amin Al-Hassan, explained the need for passengers to follow strict rules on the train. Within 10 minutes, engineers restarted the train.
This is machine,
Some passengers shared their experience with the news team.
Yes, and this one is far better. It will help, but what we want is that we should protect how it is and maintain it.
Traffic is too much, and I really enjoy the aircon.
The air condition is your sweetest part.
Yes.
You love it?
Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, this is my first time. Yeah.
How's it like?
Oh, it's cool and enjoyable.
Along the route, dumping of refuse and encroachment on the shoulders of the rail line was also visible. The Transport Minister warned residents to desist from encroaching on the rail corridor.
The government is planning to improve upon our rail system to be able to take our passengers, to be able to take our cargo, and I'm happy today that finally we have put the train to move.
We saw some of the reporters in there complain that people are beginning to fill some of the rail lines so they can use as pedestrian crossing. Any caution?
Yes, I mean, why do we engage in illegal acts that are dangerous to they themselves and the passengers or the train? This is the only way we have to travel with ease. And so we want to appeal to all Ghanaians settled along the rail tracks that they should please give us this space to be able to serve the larger Ghanaian population who want to travel in comfort.
The 99-kilometer railway stretch forms part of the Ghana-Burkina Faso Railway Interconnectivity Project, a major initiative to boost regional trade, logistics and passenger travel across West Africa. Joseph Armstrong, Gold Alugbe TV3, Temanimpakadan.
GCB Bank Ghana has launched a flagship initiative aimed at boosting women's leadership within the institution and across the financial sector. The program, titled She Girls Soar, is designed to break barriers, empower women, and foster inclusivity at the highest levels of corporate leadership.
She Girls Soar develops purpose-driven women leaders aligned with the bank's leadership DNA, empowering them to lead transformation with competence, confidence, and character. The program, aligned with the bank's 2025 strategy, also directly supports the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal on gender equality. It seeks to address both the broken rank where women are overlooked in early promotions, and the glass ceiling that limits women from top executive roles. At the official launch, Managing Director of GCB Bank PLC, Farian Al-Hassan, described the day as a defining moment in the bank's history.
Today is perhaps my happiest day in this bank. On 29th of January this year, the first imbalance I saw was the female representation on the executive committee. And so from that day, we made a commitment that this would be a thing of the past.
Board Chair of GCB Bank PLC, Professor Joshua Alabi, stated that the bank aims to improve women inclusivity by 30%.
We came to meet very few women in the executive committee, about 2 of them. And we felt that that was not good enough. So we've done a program of action. At the moment, we've increased the 2 to about 5. So we're on course. And we hope that by 2028, we should have not less than 30% of our women in the executive committee.
Chief Internal Officer Wilhelmina Esiama added that this launch is a move to ensure women's careers in GCB Bank are elevated.
This is not just a launch of any other ordinary program, but indeed it is a movement to ensure that the careers of women in GCB Bank sees different.
GCB Bank says Shigu Saw will not only equip women with confidence, connectivity, and leadership skills, but also reinforce male allyship as an essential pillar for progress.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. We have business, sports, entertainment all coming up. Do stay with us.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle, from the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital,
from the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom,
reporting from Sunyani,
from the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds, the moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
And hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudum. Now, as part of its local content drive, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, is aiming to increase Ghanaian participation in the upstream petroleum sector to 50% over the next 5 years. Currently, indigenous businesses control less than 15% of the multi-billion-dollar industry, limiting the country's ability to fully benefit from its oil and gas resources. Ghana's upstream petroleum sector is governed by local content regulations designed to promote active involvement of Ghanaian companies and professionals. While some progress has been made through equity participation and service provision, local firms continue to face challenges, including limited access to capital and technical expertise. GNPC says the situation is concerning and is taking urgent steps to shift the narrative.
In terms of local purchases, we do 100% local content. But when you go into the upstream oil and gas sector, the numbers, unfortunately, I could say we're talking of something less than 10-15% in terms of actual participation. But we are hoping that with a structured program that GNPC intends to lead, we're hoping that within the next 5 years, we should see a penetration rate of up to 45-50%, at least, and still growing.
Speaking at the GNPC Vendor Engagement Summit, the corporation urged stakeholders to seize emerging opportunities.
Through the work that we're doing in the offshore, and now we're going inland into the inland basins, we hope to steadily bring control back to Ghanaians. And the opportunities exist in both our fields offshore and the Voltairean Basin. And we expect that this will provide a new space for indigenous companies to play an active role.
A very cordial lunch with the Barcelona president today.
With survivors sharing powerful testimonies of resilience, the University of Ghana Medical Center has launched a Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The campaign reminds Ghanaians that early detection can be the difference between life and death.
The University of Ghana Medical Center, UGMC, has launched the year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, urging the public to embrace early detection, regular screening and timely treatment. Held under the theme, Detect It Early, Treat It Right and Survive It, the launch brought together health professionals, survivors and advocates at UGMC in Accra. Hospital officials noted that breast cancer remains one of Ghana's leading causes of cancer deaths. In 2020 alone, the country recorded over 4,600 new cases and about 2,000 deaths. They emphasized, however, that survival rates rise sharply when the disease is detected early. Head of Department for General Surgery Unit, Emmanuel Ashley, highlighted the importance of early detection.
Detect it early because early breast cancer is curable. If you are able to pick it up early and we give you the right treatment, and by this we mean the standard treatment for breast cancer, not the kind of treatment that we know in our environment, that people use all sorts of things because they think there's a lump on their breast. Once we detect it early, we have standard treatment in the hospitals that if you go through the treatment rightly, the chance is high that you will get cure.
A surgeon, Fauzia Osman, spoke about everyone joining in to increase awareness.
We need to make so much noise to get this out there so that women and men can remember that they need to screen themselves for breast cancer for early detection.
Director of Nursing and Midwifery Service, Judith Isiama, spoke about honoring people who have experienced breast cancer in any way.
We are using this month also to honor all resilient, all courageous, and all patients who have faced that challenges. We want to tell them that we are with them and we'll give them all the support so that they will sail through.
Now, experts have emphasized that sustaining single-digit inflation is crucial for easing the cost of living for Ghanaians and, more importantly, for creating an enabling environment for robust economic growth. These follow Ghana Statistical Service announcing that the annual inflation rate has fallen to a single digit, hitting 9.4% in September 2025.
It signals real progress in stabilizing the economy.
The 9.4% recorded in September is the 9th consecutive monthly decline in the country's inflation rate. It is the lowest inflation rate Ghana has seen since August 2021. In 9 months, the annual inflation rate has dropped by a total of 14.4 percentage points. This government statistician, Dr. Alhassan Idrisu, says signals a rapid and sustained easing of price pressures across the economy.
Prices in September this year were about 9.4% higher than in September last year. On a month-on-month basis, prices rose by 0.9% compared with August. In December 2024, inflation was 23.8%. By August 2025, it had dropped to 11.5%. Now in September 2025, we are at 9.4%.
A finance and tax expert and the head of finance at Melbourne Capital, Nelson Kujo Kwagwaji, provided insight into the factors driving Ghana's continuous decline in the inflation rate.
We have seen that food inflation has reduced significantly from 14.3% to about 11%. And this is as a result of the bumper harvest that is currently within the system. We can also attribute the disinflationary pressure to the prudent fiscal consolidation measures and also expenditure control practices that the government is putting in place. The strict monetary decision or stance taken by the Bank of Ghana has also contributed to the disinflationary pressure.
Northeast recorded the highest rate at 20.1%, while Bono East had the lowest at 1.2%. Financial economist at the University of Professional Studies Accra, UPSA, Dr. Eric Boachi Yadom, has recommended a targeted approach to drive down prices at region with high inflation rates.
Price of goods and services are largely high in Northeast and Upper West and Western North. So there should be practical steps to ensure prices in those regions do not skyrocket or go as high as increasing at the rate of 20%. If care is not taken, those areas that are hosting people below the poverty line will be pushed further, into conditions that their daily survival will be threatened.
The 9.4% inflation rate in September is within the Bank of Ghana's medium target band of 8% plus or minus 2 and beats the Ministry of Finance end-year projection of 11%.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. For more business stories, please visit our website at s3news.com/business. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle, from the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani. From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News. Leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Lishen. Now, the Ghana Football Association has been informed by football's governing body FIFA about the switch in venue for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Central African Republic. The match, which was earlier scheduled for Ben Mohamed El Abdi Stadium in El Jadida, will now take place at the Stade d'Honneur de Meknes with a kickoff at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. The Black Stars are top of Group I with 19 points and now need 4 points in their next 2 games to seal qualification to the 2026 World Cup. Let's move down to the under-17 level because for the first time since 2017, Ghana's Black Starlets have qualified to the under-17 AFCON, which is set to take place in 2026 at Morocco. Coach Prosper Nate Ogum led the team to the finals of the ongoing WAFU Zone B tournament after defeating Nigeria by 2-0 in the semi-finals. This gives the Starlets and Ivory Coast tickets to Morocco 2026. There's more in this report by my colleague Andrews Sifabafu.
For the first time in almost a decade, when the U17 African Cup of Nations rolls out in Morocco in 2026, Ghana will be a part of the participating nations. It's taken 8 years of wait since the Black Starlets were involved in the competition, with Ghana's last appearance coming in 2017, where they made it all the way to the final against Mali. But finally, Prosper Ogum's boys will be among the finest youth talent in Morocco after they defeated Nigeria 2-0 in the semi-final to not only qualify for the U17 AFCON, but also set up an exciting final with host Ivory Coast in the Wafubi U17 qualifiers.
So if you look at the game, throughout the game, the first balls, the second balls, about 80% to 90%, we won them. And then we've been able to turn some of them into offensive transitions where we could have even scored out of that. So tactically, we just played their captain out and that was it. It will be a different Ghana, our structure will be different, our mentality, our character, everything will be different. They defeated us in the group stage, so fortunately we've been able to play them, so we know what to do. We'll go back and then prepare ourselves in terms of our mentality, in terms of our character. We need to stay focused on the field. Tactically, we also have to re-strategize to make sure that we meet them boot for boot.
It's been quite the tournament for the Black Starlets, who opened their campaign with a 1-1 draw against Togo before suffering a 3-0 defeat to Ivory Coast. However, a 3-1 win over Niger in the last group outing meant Ghana had the opportunity to book a spot in the final, which they took. Ghana will now look to avenge their 3-0 defeat to host Ivory Coast in Saturday's final.
Let's move on to Europe, where in the UEFA Champions League, match day 2 is still ongoing. It's half-time across, with Arsenal leading Olympiacos by a goal to nil. We have Newcastle defeating Union SG, Karabakh defeating Copenhagen, and also we have Manchester City currently leading Monaco by 2 goals to 1. Borussia Dortmund leading Athletic Club by a goal to nil. And of course, we have Dortmund leading Athletic Club by a goal to nil. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, TV3, Ghana's leading television station, has launched its 28th anniversary celebration with a renewed commitment to serve audiences with innovative programming and compelling content. Now, the general manager for 3 Group, Akofa Banton, assured viewers that the next phase of TV3's journey will deliver even greater experiences, solidifying its place as the station of choice for millions across Ghana and beyond.
It's been 28 years of God's goodness, 28 years of excellence, leadership. TV3 has done it all.
Over the past 28 years, TV3 has become a household name, setting the benchmark for television excellence in Ghana with groundbreaking shows and several highly acclaimed news and current affairs programs. The anniversary was described as both a moment of reflection on past achievements and a bold step into the future of broadcasting.
We've been at the top for 28 years. In 1997, when TV3 made its entry onto the market, it used to be just one media house, and then when we came in, we brought in a lot of innovation, a lot of new things, and so we are proud to celebrate 28 years with our lovely clients. They've been supportive over the years, and with our staff, it's been exciting. We're grateful. Thank you to Media General staff or TV3 staff for all the hard work and dedication.
The general manager for 3 Group, Akofa Banton, reaffirmed TV3's dedication to delivering value-driven and innovative content that reflects the aspirations of its diverse audience.
We'll continue to bring them compelling content. When we came onto the screens, we said we would be first in news, best in entertainment. And today, we pledge to continue to bring them the best of news and the best of entertainment.
And so much more.
The anniversary celebration will span a series of activities and engaging events designed to celebrate the station's journey while connecting more closely with viewers. A special anniversary cake was cut in spirit of celebration, symbolizing nearly 3 decades of consistency, creativity, and excellence in broadcasting.
Happy anniversary! I couldn't wait to do that. Happy anniversary to all of us. Happy anniversary to all.
Well, that's how we wrap up on the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you, Noella. Coming up, international news.
At least 30 people have died and more than 200 others been injured after scaffolding collapsed at a church in Ethiopia. Thousands of worshippers were gathered at the Areti Mariam Church early in the morning when the structure fell. Local police inspector Ahmed Gebeyehu told BBC Amharic. The crowd had visited the church in the central Minjar Shegnora area, about 70 kilometers. That's 45 miles from the capital Addis Ababa, as part of the annual Orthodox Christian celebration of St. Mary. Mr. Ahmed said the death toll might increase, adding that those confirmed deceased were aged between 25 and 80.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Aseidu Dartey.
And I am Portia Gabor. Do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.